Hi, everybody.
What do
Thanks
I
for
do?
joining us
Oops,
again this week.
did I push start?
Today, I'm so excited. I'm joined by Sean Maher. So, welcome, Sean.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh, I almost blew the intro. Hmm, Terrible. That's just terrible podcasting.
I always mess up. I don't have a fancy background like you.
I, you know, I
Okay.
we my
Oh,
son and I started this podcast, and he decided he preferred just to do all the editing stuff, which I was like, okay,
okay.
I
Okay.
like to talk. I'll talk. But we were just in a bedroom, and eventually we got our own studio, and we moved to a studio. But we started using this background. I was like, I'm keeping it.
It's
It
good.
looks pretty good. Yeah,
That's a good
because
one.
we can be anywhere. Nobody knows.
That's a good one. You got odd
So
nose.
thank you, Sean, for doing this.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for having
This is
me.
so exciting for me. I'm such a fan of yours from the beginning. Well, I don't know how. It was probably not the beginning, but the first time I remember seeing you, you were playing Brian Piccolo.
Oh, really? Wow.
That's
We go
actually
way.
okay. I'm lying just a little bit. I did see you in one other thing, but I'm not going to tell you what it was yet. I'll bring
Well,
it. I'm going to bring it up in a little bit, but
if you
I
saw
think it's
Brian, if you saw Brian's song, we go way back.
Brian's song.
Nobody saw that. I
Oh
feel
my
like.
gosh, that movie was. It was tough on you emotionally.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You were great in it, though. I mean, you played such. It's a true story, and you played it
Yeah.
so well. The relationship between Brian and Gail.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, you did such a great job with that, but it's an emotional movie, tough
Yeah.
to watch.
Yeah.
You mean you don't get stopped at conventions to talk about Brian Piccolo?
No. No. Never. Never.
Uh, well,
My
when I catch you at a convention, that's what I'm stopping you for. I'm like,
yeah.
"Oh,
I mean,
it's Brian Piccolo.
I know. My son is like, he's 10. He's football is his thing, and all of his buddies are like, we have to watch that movie. I'm like, you guys should watch that movie. It's really a sweet movie about
It is
football.
a real. It's actually it's an excellent
It's a
movie.
good film. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah,
Nobody ever saw
really well
that.
done. When I saw you on Firefly later, I was like, oh, I know who that is.
There's Piccolo.
It's that Piccolo guy. No, it's really good. So I like to start here. It's what the way I usually start. I jumped ahead a little bit, but what made you want to get into the entertainment business? Why did you become an actor?
Oh dear. Um, that's a great question. So I grew up in New York City, or grew up outside New York.
Yeah.
And my mom and I used to go into the city, and we would wait. Back then it was called the TKTS line. So you'd wait in this line for like sometimes 3 hours to get like a ticket to a show. So we would go.
Oh.
Are you getting feedback, or is that just me?
No, it must just be you. You're
All right,
coming through
good.
just fine.
So we'd wait for hours and hours and hours on these lines to get these tickets and go sit up, in the nosebleed section. And I would just watch shows with my mom. And I went and I saw Into the Woods one time. And I was like, oh, wow, I think I want to do that.
Yeah.
And that was it. Like, literally, that was it. I just sort of like went back to school. I was a junior in high school and just was like, let me just, I don't know, see how it goes. My
Yeah.
my experience was always, it started with musical theater and singing.
Yeah.
That's how I went to NYU for musical theater, and yeah, it was just sort of, I don't know, I wasn't very good at lots of stuff, and when I found the theater and I found the family of the theater, and like it just like felt like home. So
Yeah.
that was sort of, what happened.
Did you do theater there in New York before you got into TV and film?
So I did not. I went to NYU, and then I graduated, and I'm the exception to to everything. I just went and I auditioned and I got a role. Ryan Caulfield, year one.
That was the one.
was,
That's the one I was going to tell you that I'd seen you in.
Shut up.
Yeah, and
it was
on like it was very brief.
Oh, it was like you blinked and you missed it. But you didn't see that.
I did, and I'll tell you why. This is why I wanted to bring it up, because you made an appearance on The Rookie with Nathan Fillion, and I was curious about that because other than his age difference, the premise was kind of similar to Ryan Caulfield, right? You were just a younger police officer.
Right.
And I thought that was kind of curious. The Rookie's doing really well.
Yeah.
What was the problem with Ryan Caulfield?
Oh, I don't know. I know nothing. I was so new. I was so green. I was like, oh, here I am. Like they didn't teach us that. And, we had like conservatory training. Nobody taught us how to like stand on a piece of tape on the ground. And then when they would like move the camera, I would still stand there on the mark, like until an actor came up to me and was like, you can go actually, sit down and you can just like, take a break. You don't have to stand.
You don't have to just wait.
And I was like, oh, I thought this was my mark and I have to stand here. And like, so it was like, it was a crash course in, TV and film, but it was lovely. But again, it was sort of, I worked really hard. And right out of the gate, this is what happened. And, and then I was grateful to, work with Fox for so many years. And so.
Well, and even though the show didn't last very long on TV, it still got you in the door. So then you're known. That had to make it much easier. You didn't have to maybe struggle quite as much getting more roles since you'd already landed, one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's kind of good.
Yeah.
Do you think? Go ahead.
Say it again. Oh, I was just gonna say, Sarah Paulson, who I worship. Yeah. I read an interview with her, and any advice that she had, one of them was don't succeed early. It's like don't. And it was sort of this thing that happened. I was like, oh my gosh, here I am, like I'm doing this and that, and I'm the star of a show, and like whatever. And I'm so grateful, but it was strange to just sort of it all kind of just, was pounced upon me. And now it's hard. No, what did I do? Why did I do this?
You're going the wrong way.
Why can't I go back to watching Into the Woods with my mom?
Yeah. Don't you think that acting schools and universities, that they should add that stuff into the training, like actual practical training?
I mean, I do. It depends who you ask.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yes, I agree with all of that. And I don't want to step on anybody's feet in regards to training an actor, but there's the hardest lessons I've learned as an actor were never taught to me in school, and it's as simple as that piece of tape. I have to pretend that I don't see that piece of tape while I'm having this emotional scene, but I've got to stand on that piece of tape because it's going to be blurry if I don't. It's weird. So then I'm taken out of this whole, I'm having this emotion with this actor, but I've got to see that piece of tape. Why didn't anybody teach us this? This is so weird. It's I have to peripherally see it, but I don't see it because I'm crying with him and but yeah, there's a lot of stuff. I think I think it in regards to the well-being of an actor, I feel like I could teach a whole course on that. I remember my first day of acting class, and the teacher got up there and we just walked back and forth, and it was so weird to me. And and then she said, that we are enough. Hang on, I'm gonna give you my new tattoo.
Oh,
yeah.
You're enough. 1,000. Oh, I love that.
Yeah, thank you.
So that's a great quote.
An actor at a con once was like, if there was something that you wish someone had told you. And I was like, I wish someone just told me I was enough, like 1,000 times enough,
I love it.
And that's what my teacher was trying to teach us. We're just like walking. And just us walking was, we were enough. And I didn't get it. Like, I didn't get it because I thought, you had to do something,
Right.
make it, something, and it had to be like dramatic and grand, and and then I just think that as I've in my old age, I think what I cherish when I see work that I appreciate or have experiences, it's always these very like subtle, vulnerable places of being that are just, we're not trying, we're just sort of like, we're enough, we're right here. And that was not taught to me. That was just sort of like, now I'm
old. Learn that one.
I'm still trying to get it. And I tattooed it on me. So maybe tomorrow I'll get it.
Oh yeah. I love that. That's such a good lesson. That's probably what's been holding me back. I just needed somebody to tell me I'm enough. 1,000 times enough.
1,000 times.
Actually, people tell me that all the time, but I don't think they mean it the same way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. And I also think that acting is extremely difficult. And the fact that you struggled with tape that could have totally derailed. If I'd tried to be an actor, tape could have totally derailed my career. Be like, why aren't you an actor? I was like, that damn tape.
That tape.
I couldn't get it.
And there's different colors. It's like,
do they mean different things?
Am I red or am I blue? I don't know. And like, that tape is closer than that one, and like, it's a lot. It's like,
I mean, do the colors represent the bigger stars in the show or the movie?
Say it again. I don't know. I don't know.
Be like, oh, I'm green. Or yes, I'm blue.
Right? Yeah. But if there should be a class on tape and feeling enough.
That's right. Feeling enough. Have you went back and done theater since?
I have not. I did a show, oh gosh, like 10 years ago in LA.
Yeah.
And it was part of a festival. So it wasn't like a full length. It was like a half hour, 35 minutes. And it was wonderful and beautiful, and I miss it. But yeah, no, I've not.
Have you got to sing within a movie or a TV show?
No.
Oh, come on. No Firefly the musical out there?
Oh my God. From your lips to Joss's ears. Like, oh my God. He could do it.
So let's talk Firefly for just a little bit. I had heard that the group of actors that had worked on Firefly, along with some of the other Whedon shows, would occasionally get together to read Shakespeare. Is that true?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Shakespeare Sundays.
Yeah, I heard that. That's such a neat idea. And I know you did the Much Ado About Nothing.
Right.
I'm assuming, did that come from those get-togethers?
Yeah. Yeah. So Joss's brother and his wife wrote all this music, and they were doing Much Ado, and they decided, let's make this a movie. And then, suddenly there we were. There were like Cirque du Soleil people in the backyard, and it was all like, what am I doing? Where am I? But yeah, there were Shakespeare Sundays, which to be completely honest, I avoided because they scared me. Can I curse?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Yeah, I was scared shitless from these like Shakespeare, all of this stuff. So
why is that?
Avoid them. I'd be like, oh, I'm out of town. And in my defense, this is the same thing that Joss would do when we had like his games gave him anxiety. Shakespeare me anxiety. So we would like pretend like we couldn't come. It was just like this whole thing, and then and then he asked me to do this movie, and I was like, oh, okay, like I guess let's do it.
Do you think he did that intentionally because he's like, I'm getting him over this?
Oh. Well, that would be funny. I don't know if it was that calculated, but
Yeah.
he was definitely like, "Are you in or are you out?" Like, you know, like read his email at 2 a.m. and he's like, "This is what I'm doing," and I'm so confused. He's like, "And I need a sexy villain. What saith you?" And
Saith you.
I said, "Well, Josh, does this mean you think I'm sexy?" And they say, "Of course I think you're sexy. Like, are you in or are you out?" No, it's like, oh dear, here we go. Like, you know, but it was one of the best experiences of my life. That whole movie was incredible. We all just sort of, showed up. Everybody kind of brought like 150% of what they were capable of. And, we all worked. So we did so much homework and we all just sort of like, showed up. And it wasn't just actors, it was like everybody, like craft service and costume and everything. Everybody was like, let's just come together and celebrate this passion of this artistic piece of work that we're doing. And
yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, it was terrifying. And it was amazing all at once. There was
Well,
live
it was
theater.
a short film too, right? Like a short schedule.
Oh God, 12 days.
Yeah.
Which is like unheard of, like crazy.
Yeah, I thought it was really fast. Yeah, I didn't mean the film was short, but the shoot.
Yeah. No, it was like, he got it done in 12 days. Yeah. And I think that's what was so scary and exciting about it. It was like, he was just say, I know what I need, so I'm going to set up cameras and you guys have like one, maybe two shots to get it right. So don't fuck it up. and we're moving on. So it was very like, it was like, okay, well, here we go. But I think what he caught essentially was sort of like live theater.
Yeah.
He just caught it on film and it was exhilarating and it was lovely. And and there were Cirque du Soleil. Like, I remember that night. I was like, there's Cirque du Soleil in the tree. And there are so many people like, what is happening? Like,
yeah,
I was so blessed to be a part of this.
Yeah, that's awesome. So how did the role in Firefly come about? Was that just a straight audition, or did somebody?
Yeah, that was just like good old fashioned auditioning. That was like it's pilot season, so there's like all of these pilots. And so this one popped up. My agent was like, "There's this show. It's from the guy from Buffy, and it's sci-fi." And I was like, "Okay." And then there was no script, so I read. There were like 3 pages. There's that scene where Simon like tells everybody kind of like, what happened with him and River, and that's all I had. I read it. I was like, "Oh, interesting." And then I met Joss, and so I was like, "Hey, just tell me about this show. What's going on? Like, what the hell is happening in the scene?" Like, so he just explained to me the entire concept of the show, like from his mouth, which was just like, it was wonderful. And and then I tested like 2 weeks later and secretly hoped I didn't book anything else. So it was like kind of it was just sort of like I was drawn to him. He's quite a lovely, exciting, intelligent person. Was one of my best friends. But that was it.
That's awesome. Did you met any of the cast during the the process, or did that happen after?
No, Nathan and Jewel and Summer have funny stories where they saw each other. That's a whole testing process. It's crazy. You're like, you're at the network. There's like 15 people in, so you have to like walk in and like do it, and it's horrible. It's horrible. And they have funny stories where they were like seeing each other. I didn't see anybody else, so I didn't know. I didn't see any of the cast. But yeah, it was really like one of those like lightning in a bottle. Like it just everybody clicked. There was previously a different Inara. And then when Marina showed up, we were all like, "Oh, that's the final." And it was like, "Oh my God, this is so weird. Like we all love each other." And respect each other and are mutually supportive. It was really special.
I mean, don't you think that part of the reason it's such a kind of a cult series? I mean, the writing terrific. The premise is unique, but don't you think a big part of that is the fact that you as a cast just genuinely liked each other?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, 100%. It was
Yeah,
so
as a
funny.
fan, it came across.
Yeah, and when we were doing press for it, and I was like, I know I've said this before. I've said the soundbite before that it was organic in the cast. I was like, but this is really what's happening. Like, I'd be like, oh my god, we got lunch, whatever. And I was like, no, but this is actually what's happening. Like, we are a fan, and it's so funny because like that show was just the seed. It's like it really was just like, oh, here we go. And then this family like blossomed, and Jewel is like my best friend, and we've seen each other through parenting and ups and downs, and like, I mean, all of us stay in touch, and all of us are so close. We have actually a thread, the Firefly thread, so it's like we're always on the we're a text away, and that all started with the show. So the show was remarkable, but then what sprouted from there for the rest of us is it's special. It's unfortunate that it's rare, but yeah, it was special union of artists coming together.
Well, and it came across your relationship with Summer on the set. I mean, it felt like you two were actually related. Just everybody's relationship with each other. You could really kind of tell it, because I think you can. I don't know. You can sense it a little bit on shows where the chemistry's not what it should be. I don't know.
Right.
Maybe that's just me, but I feel like you can kind of tell that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So here's the question that we talk as fans. We talk about all the time. So if Firefly gets the run that everybody wants it to, so it's out there for 7, it gets the Star Trek treatment. It's 7 years. Is it as good a show?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know either. I don't think anybody does. We're all hopeful.
Yeah.
That's what would happen, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I think part of the beauty of the show is it was just shot down before it was taking off. It was sort of, there's this element of it being sort of like snatched away that I think I don't know.
What was it like having the show canceled, and then this at that time never before seen fan response to the show, and then there was all those years of rumor about a reunion or a sequel or the show coming back. Talk a little bit about what that whole process was like.
Oh yeah. So I worked with Fox for, I think that was my 4th show. So I guess I was like, I don't know, I felt not jaded, but I just was like, oh, this is what happens. Shows get canceled. And when it got canceled, we all went to Nathan's house and ate a lot of bean dip. I actually fell through a hedge, and Marina had to drive my car home. And my mom was visiting. It was such a strange time. Yeah. But yeah, we had heard that there was like, Joss was trying to like find another home for it. And I had heard that so many times, like, this is not the end. We're going to find another network. We're going to find another this. We're going to find another that. And again, jaded, maybe, but I was just like, this is what happens, and we'll all get, new jobs. And and then Summer and I were at Joss's house having dinner. He was cooking me sea bass, which I'm such a high maintenance. I was like macrobiotic or something awful like that, you know. And he was like cooking me sea bass, and he was saying that he was going to Cape Cod to finish the script, and I was like, that's weird. What is happening? He's like, oh yeah. We're doing this. And then I still didn't believe it until we did the read through.
Yeah.
So there we were on the Universal lot, and there were all these actors who I'd come to love so much, like saying the words of these characters that I missed so much. And that's when I was like, whoa, this is so weird. Like, you know, we're shooting a movie. Yeah, it just felt like, again, like lightning in a bottle. It was like, I'd never experienced anything like it. I'm so grateful that I was a part of it. And yeah, we just sort of like, you know, got back on set, and there it went. Oh
Yeah. I mean, it's true. I mean, it's so rare, I think, for anyone to get a chance to experience a show like that.
yeah.
Yeah. And I've always said, you know, again, not an actor, never would be. But if I was, I would only need that one role.
Mm.
You know, whatever science fiction, comedy, whatever it was, that one role, and I would live off that for the rest of my life. You wouldn't have to call me to come to conventions. I'd just show up in the outfit, ready to go.
Love that.
Just be walking around, Simon, hoping somebody would recognize me.
I love that.
So a show that we absolutely love that didn't get as much recognition as I thought it should was Con Man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I thought that was such a fun show, but because it was like Alan had he called like everybody that he knew to be on the show, and I thought that was it was just a fun show because it was kind of a tongue in cheek look at, you know, of his career, and how something kind of goes.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah,
that wasn't a job. That was just like,
yeah, your character was hilarious in that.
Pure fun.
Yeah. And it was just a short little show. I think it had a couple seasons, but the episodes were real short, so you could binge them.
So good. You know, he literally wrote, produced, directed, starred.
Yeah.
I mean, I was so proud of him. I was like, I couldn't even.
It was well done.
Watching him. Yeah, it was so.
Yeah. We're waiting for your appearance on Resident Alien.
Oh.
Yeah, so just tell him whenever he's ready. You could play like another alien of the species.
I would love that. I love
that. So back in the 90s, you probably can't tell, I was a comic book store owner. So I owned a couple stores, but when Marvel went bankrupt, I thought the bottom was falling out, so I got out. I was like, it's over. And of course, you know, a couple years later, they came back and started making all those movies and stuff. But I say that even though I'm talking about Marvel, my favorite character growing up, my son's favorite character while he was growing up, Nightwing. And you've been the voice of Nightwing now for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. How did that come about?
That was like the stork just came and dropped something. It just was like, it was just presented to me, and yeah.
Had you ever read any of the comics?
So I knew Dick Grayson. I knew vaguely, you know, but now all this time later, I'm obsessed with Nightwing. I just
Nightwing's the best.
He's the best. Yeah, it just sort of like fell in my lap, and again, so grateful for that. But yeah, I never thought it would go as long as it did.
Yeah.
You know, and I kept thinking I would be fired. Like the first time I showed up for work for the first one. I was like, this is crazy. I don't know what I'm doing. They're gonna fire me. The second one, I was like, this is crazy. I have no idea what I'm doing. They're gonna fire me. And then the third one, I was like, oh, I guess they like what I'm doing. And the script was fun, that one. And I was like, oh, this is great. And I'm having fun. But I genuinely was like, why did they want me to do this? I don't know what I'm doing. But yeah, it was fun. Yeah, and Jason Maher.
Have you got to do the Nightwing with the mullet? Have they portrayed him in any movie? I don't know if you know that one. So back in the 80s, when he first becomes Nightwing and stuff, he kind of rocked the mullet for a little while. It was terrible.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah. I like a good mullet.
I mean, it'd be hilarious now, but at the time we're like, oh, well, that's not a good look for Nightwing.
Yeah, I can get on board with that.
So I've got so you do the voice for Nightwing, but I've got a live action pitch for you. So in the comics a few years back, an older Nightwing gives up being Nightwing and joins like a government. He becomes a spy called Grayson. That's the show you need to do.
You're calling me old?
No. Just older than the younger Nightwing.
I could do it.
I know. You get to play like he was like a James Bond character, but it was Grayson. He was a secret agent. I'm not sure why. Can't remember why, but he was.
Doesn't matter why.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. So you could have the show, and it's like this kind of James Bondy type of show, but he's having flashbacks of his days as, Robin and Nightwing.
Okay.
That's a hit.
Okay.
You don't seem convinced, but that's a hit.
No. Spinning. And we call it Grayson.
That's what it was called. I'm not making it up. It was an actual comic book. Grayson.
Do I get to wear the mullet?
Well, yeah, there has to be at least a flashback scene where you get the mullet.
My mullet memories go to Stranger Things. That lasts. He was so good.
Oh yeah. So yeah, did you ever have a mullet back when I had hair? Back then, I didn't have a mullet, but I did have kind of the curly, longer hair for a little while.
Yeah, I didn't have a mullet. I had a ponytail.
Oh, very nice.
College.
All the hair in the 80s and 90s was a little rough.
Yeah.
A little rough.
Yeah.
I kind of miss it though. Yeah. I did the feather. Did you ever feather your hair back?
Oh God, no.
That was a style for a while.
No, that's terrible.
It was very Sean Cassidy back then. That's probably why all my hair fell out. It was just like, we're out of here, buddy. Those styles are terrible. It's like, we're done. So am I wrong, or did you make an appearance on Arrow?
Yes.
Were you a bad guy?
I was a bad guy.
That's
Shrapnel.
what I thought. Shrapnel, yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought it'd been a while since I've watched Arrow, but I thought you made an appearance on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've done a lot of the superhero stuff. You did Human Target. I remember you being on that one.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You know what?
I'm a fan.
God. Yeah.
I've learned to tone it down. We met, my son and I got to meet Summer a couple of times. We've met her a couple of times, but I was excited to see her. I was like, oh, I'm such a fan and stuff. And she literally was like, like, yeah. My son's like, no, just calm down.
You scared her?
I scared her. Apparently, I was too enthusiastic when I came up, so I've dialed it back. But she was the best. She in person, just sweet as can be. Just so all the Firefly cast is terrific.
They're all
just sweet as can be.
They're all just good people. And
they get it, and I'm sure that you get it. It's it can be overwhelming, I think, with the fan reaction and just there's so much. But all any of us want as a fan is just that few seconds,
Mm.
just a moment of your time to kind of, as for us, it's a big memory. You're going through a zillion of them, so it's a little more difficult. But for us, it's a big memory, and I think the cast from Firefly has always just been so gracious. Every time that I've run into any of them at a show.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's pretty nice, pretty good, pretty good. We actually came to a show that you were at, had a group of you, and it was crazy the lines trying to get to any of you. It was amazing.
Oh.
What is that like when you're at a show and you're just it's out the door?
Oh. Well, it's I don't know.
I mean,
It's
is it
lovely.
awesome, but a little bit of pressure? That's how I would
It
feel.
it's it's definitely awesome. Like I never take it for granted. And Jewel and I, before the world exploded, we would arrange our conventions together, and we would
Yeah.
be texting, be like, nobody's coming. This is crazy. Like, what are we doing? We're old and this is insane. Like, where are we eating? And the lines are always like, yeah, it's just really it's wonderful. It's
Yeah.
extraordinary. And it's not just the line, it's like, this experience that I just feel so grateful, like you were saying, just like do one thing that resonates. And it's wonderful, it's lovely, it's
Yeah.
remarkable, it's yeah, I enjoy it. And I can speak for probably the cast. When we have these experiences with fans, there is this, or we try, I try, Jewel, I know they all sort of have this connection
Yeah.
because we loved it too. Like we love the show, we love each other, we love the story we were telling, we love all the aspects that make people like you know have warm fuzzies, like we all of that stuff, like we love too, we really do.
Right.
And so to have this, however long it is, sometimes you have like a dick promoter who's just like, hurry up. And but you have these moments where you're just like, oh my god, there's your child that you named after my character. Oh my god, that's beautiful, that's so lovely and beautiful. And thank you for coming. And and then
Yeah.
at dinner we'll be like, did you meet that family who named their kid Simon? That was so amazing, they are
That's
so
awesome.
beautiful and wonderful. And we all remember it, and it means um it moves us, it means something
Yeah.
so much.
That's
I've
terrific.
never taken this experience for granted. I really have not.
Yeah.
When people are like, oh, the fans creepy, I'm like, no, 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 they're not. They're incredibly intelligent and loyal and wonderful, like wonderful.
Yeah.
Um, so if there is a line, I'm like, oh my god, who am I to sit here and just say hello to you? Like I'm immensely grateful for the
Yeah.
experience that
That's
this show.
terrific. Are you scheduled for any conventions this year?
No,
Yeah, I know they're
they're
just starting to come. We
starting to
we
come up. Yeah.
cover them as press a lot of times, and we've had a few contact us. I think Lexington, Kentucky, and
Oh, I love Lexington.
GalaxyCon, I think in
Okay.
Raleigh has sent us some stuff, but it's just now starting to come back. You say you love Lexington, Kentucky?
Yeah. Do you
Yeah.
not?
Oh
No.
yeah, I've
Yeah. Yeah.
enjoyed it. We've been the last several years. We've enjoyed it every year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and it's just a nice little area. The people are terrific.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good. Yeah, we need to get you back out there.
Yeah. There you
you
go.
know, strangely enough, we were slow to it, but West Virginia is actually starting to have conventions, and the same people putting on the Lexington one put on the West Virginia one here
Okay.
in Huntington, West Virginia. So yeah, I'm putting that out there just in case you want to
All
swing by.
right.
That would be great.
Yeah. Did you hear that, God?
That's right. I'm putting it out there in the universe. You never know. May come
Yeah.
back. So I know we need to wrap up, but I've got here's my second. I've already pitched you one idea. That one's for free. You can have this one for free too. So in the spirit of Con Man, so you've got these shows that are no longer on the air. What if the cast from each show were rivals? So they go to these convention and they're trying to sabotage each other so that they're the main focus for the fans.
Yeah.
I think there's something there.
I think that might happen.
I
think it happens.
Well, that was kind of my way of asking without just using any one show of being.
No, that's good. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's good.
It's like there's those bastards from Star Trek again.
Yeah, there's like I forget who it was, and of course, if I remembered who it was, I would never say it. But I remember. But oh God, Firefly guys show up. It's all about you. I'm like, oh, nice to meet you too. Can I get you a Diet Coke?
Yeah, that's pretty.
Yeah, it's funny. No comment. Definitely like a very, very wonderful inside look. That's very it's spot on. It's very tongue-in-cheek and spot on.
There's something there. I need to work on that. There's something there.
Yeah.
All I want, if you somehow develop that, I just want special thanks in the
Okay.
That guy. So the last thing that I was my oldest daughter, she was late to it, so she didn't start watching it till she was older, so she was watching reruns. But she knew you from Party of Five, so she said make sure to mention Party of Five.
Wow.
Yeah, she loved you in that. Because I always ask the kids, this is who I'm talking to today. Have you seen him in anything? And sometimes they come up with stuff, but that was hers. She's never watched Firefly, has no desire to watch Firefly. Party of Five, though, loved it.
Wow. And she's not like that old man. Does he have a mullet? Wow, Party 5. That's my second job.
Yeah. That's a pretty good second job. That show, that's another one that was kind of culty,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Kind of picked up a cast or a fan group as it went along.
Yeah. Oh, I love that job. I love Nev. She's like one of my favorite people.
Yeah. It turned out to have a terrific cast. A lot of it was unknown at the time.
Right.
Looking back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty amazing. Well, Sean, thank you so much. This has been the best. I've been looking forward to speaking with you, and it was terrific.
Yeah. And
now that I've well, yeah, of course.
Did I cancel on you 14 times? What was it?
It was 14 times. Not that I'm counting. No, you were very good about it. Stuff comes up, and you still, to your credit, you came back.
Oh.
A lot of people just would have been like, this isn't happening. Giving up. But you stuck in there.
Yeah.
It was pretty good.
The way I roll.
Well, now that I've mapped out, your career for the next few years, I've given you these two great projects to work on.
Yeah.
Well, I should have asked that. Do you write? Have you
grow a mullet?
Yeah, you got to grow for sure.
Do I write? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I kind of figured. Have you got anything picked up yet?
Well, no. I'm in the midst of like a rewrite.
Okay. It takes time.
It does take time. My gosh.
What's the genre?
Like dark comedy.
Ooh. All right. It's not about rivals at a comic convention, is it?
No, it's about mullets.
It's about
mullets.
It's just called Mullets. There was a show called The Mullets.
Shut up. Really?
Yes. You have to look it up. It was a comedy show, and I can't remember who was in it,
Okay.
but they're well-known people. I've forgotten over time, but yeah, it was called The Mullets.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll believe you.
How did that not make it? I don't know. I mean, that's gold.
Yeah.
I'd like to have been at that pitch meeting, I think.
Right.
You know, whoever picked that up used to have a mullet. They had to have.
Oh, they had to. Yeah.
That's why they picked it up, I'm sure. So, Sean, before you go, is there anything else that you're working on that's coming up, or we can keep an eye out for that we haven't touched
on? Yes, and I don't know if I'm allowed to.
Ooh. See, now that means you have to come back when you are.
Okay.
That's my trick. That's trick.
Fair. Yeah.
Yeah. What's the genre on that one?
It would be of the sci-fi world.
No, really. Yeah. Is it something new, or is it a role in something existing?
Oh dear. It is new. It's part of something established.
Ooh.
Different genre than anything I've ever done before.
Oh, I'll track it down.
Yeah.
You got to come back then. You have to come back to talk. When you're allowed to talk about it.
Yeah. Maybe I'll have a mullet by then.
Oh my gosh. That's the next episode. We both have to be rocking mullets. I mean, mine will be fake, but you could probably still grow one. Or maybe I can get Brett, my son, on here because he's got great hair. Maybe he could.
Okay.
He could rock it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got to be a certain. You got to have you got to have some self-confidence for a mullet.
Yeah.
A mullet is not for the introvert. You got to be an extrovert with a mullet, I think.
Okay.
You got to own it.
Yeah. Oh. Okay.
I'm just throwing it out there so you can work. When you're writing, you can.
Yeah.
Get that down. Yeah. So last thing, Sean, where can we find you on social media?
I should know this, right?
Well, I found you pretty easy. You just put your name in, it comes up.
Sean_M_Maher. That's my Twitter and my Instagram, right?
Yeah, I think that sounds right to me. Yes.
Okay, good.
Now, are you running your own, or does somebody run those for you?
Oh no, I do everything. Yeah, I do my own.
That's good.
I'm lazy, and I tend to binge post, but I try and do my. I definitely do my own. I try and do more, but
yeah. Oh, it's tough. It's tough.
So it goes.
It may be a little easier the last year, although all you would post would be stuff you're doing at home. But
yeah.
Were you in Detroit for the pandemic? Were you there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that was definitely a rough summer. The year was terrible, but rough.
Oh, it was awful. Yeah. I think worst year of my life. Yeah, it was crazy. Not to be dramatic or but my father unfortunately passed away from COVID.
It's awful. Yeah, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it was in April when it was super new and scary.
Yeah.
I was on these road trips to and from Detroit to New York. It was such a strange and weird time.
Yeah. I'm so glad we're starting to come out of it.
I know.
Ways to go, but we're getting there.
Yeah. I keep saying that question, how are you, is now this loaded question.
Right.
You have to be I'm good. It's how are you? It's well.
Yeah. How much do you?
I don't know anybody who died this week, so that's good.
Right. I mean, there for a while. It was just it was bad news every day. It was
every day. It was rough.
And it was nothing that any of us have been through before.
Yeah.
It's so weird. It's so weird.
Yeah. I mean, that I think was the scariest part. What's more scary than uncertainty, right?
Right.
So here we have all these unknowns, what's happening, what's gonna happen, are we safe? It's just this. We were just sort of in this soup of not knowing.
Yeah.
But the vaccines are
That's
here.
right.
The sun is out. No.
We're getting back out there now.
Yeah.
It's so weird though. Like I go into places and you're not required to wear a mask now,
Right.
but it feels like I need a mask on.
Mm-hmm.
It just feels weird. And
know.
like I don't know that I'll ever eat at a buffet again. There's just weird things. That I'm like, I don't know. It never bothered me before, but now I'm like, oh, that sounds dicey.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll leave it to me to end us on a down note. It's like, learn to cut it off, man.
Oh dear.
Oh shoot. Well, thank you very much, Sean.
Thank you. That's
come
fun.
back. Yeah, I'm so glad you hung in there with me. This has been a lot of fun.
Oh, you hung in with me.
What am I doing?
The first time I was gonna call you, I was like, my daughter rides. She rides horses, and I was up at the barn, and I was like, I'm just gonna do it from the car. It'll be fine. Something happened with the horse. I was like, oh man. So you hung in there with me. So thank you.
Yeah, I did an interview once with a gentleman that did it from. It was I won't say who it was, but it was an actor. But he had a side job as a handyman.
Oh.
So he just did the interview as he was doing a job. It was the weirdest thing. It was actually kind of hilarious because he was, he's hammering away and just you wouldn't have, if you didn't hear the hammer, you wouldn't have known he wasn't just sitting and doing it. That was back in days before we were Zooming, so it was just by phone. But yeah, interesting. All right, Sean, hang on.
All right, my friend.
I'll let you go. Oh my gosh, Sean Maher. Wow. I will give myself about a 5 on the holding it together scale. I stumbled a few times on this one. A little nervous. Big Firefly fan and big fan of Sean's. It's Nightwing. That's worth getting nervous over, I think. He was so great. He was kind and hung in there. We did have a few snafus trying to schedule this, but he always communicated. He was just very gracious, very kind, and every bit as nice as I thought he would be. He was just terrific, and such a talented actor. I love that. He, I've enjoyed him in everything that he's been in. I think we touched on most of them. He's, I'm pretty sure, done a CSI episode and a few other cameos that I thought he was really good in. But I think we hit the highlights and gave him 2 stellar show ideas. So anybody listening, if you end up making those, special thanks. That's all I want. Thank you guys so much for joining us again this week. Just like Sean and his fans, we definitely do not take for granted all of you that keep coming back to check us out week after week. There's so many podcasts out there. I know there's so much you could be listening to, that you could be watching. You keep coming back. We really, really appreciate that. If you haven't done so already, our YouTube channel is under Meisterkhan Pod. We would appreciate it if you would like and subscribe. You can find all of our 260 some episodes, audio and video, on our website, meisterkhan.com. There's a great blog from Brett on that one, and it's terrific, and I know that you'll enjoy that. So definitely check that out. You can find all the shows that we have planned to cover as press and anything else that we have going on. So until next time, bye everybody.